Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Formstack 2024 Spring Release webinar. We're just going to take a couple of minutes and hang tight just to give everyone a little bit of extra time to join today. But while we're waiting, feel free to use the chat to share where you're tuning in from. My name is Lacey Jackson. I'm the manager for the product marketing team here at Formstack. Today, I am broadcasting to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, where the weather is a little gloomy, but springy. It's feeling spring. It's I hope it's not fool's spring, which they say it does happen a lot in Indiana, where you get tricked and you think it's spring, but it's actually second winter is around the corner. But fingers crossed, it's April. So anyways, today I'm joined by my fellow product marketer, Emma Douglas, who is joining us today from Montreal. Emma, what's the weather like in the Great White North?
Spring has sprung in the Great White North, surprisingly, but we will be due for another snowstorm before summer. It's upon us. But for now, we're chilling. Times are nice here.
That's good. I'm like at least a small spring moment. I'm happy about that.
It's a moment. It's not a season. It's a moment.
It's a moment. We have a lot. We have like 20 seasons in Indiana. That's fine. Well, I guess that's enough of our weather time small talk. Hopefully the weather is nice where some of our people are joining from. As we wait for a few more folks to join, I just want to mention that the webinar is being recorded. So if you do miss something, no worries. You're going to get an inbox or a copy in your inbox in a couple of days. Additionally, don't be shy. On the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see that there is a chat, which hopefully you've used to already share where you're joining in from. At the top of the chat, you can navigate between the chat, the polls, and the Q&A. When you see a little red icon appear next to the poll tab, that means that we have a question for you, and we would love to get your feedback by answering on the poll. If you have any questions, you can feel free to use the Q&A section. Obviously, for most of the webinar, Emma and I will be preoccupied with sharing the exciting new features that we have today, but we do have some Formstack experts who are in the Q&A section, and they'll be able to answer your questions as they come in. We do have a lot of great content to cover today, so hopefully you've got a festive springtime beverage in hand. We're going to dive right in. So for today, whether you're a Formstack power user, you're new to Formstack, you're a Formstack partner, we do have a little bit of something for everyone in today's release. I'm going to go over just a couple of the highlights of what we have lined up. First, I'm going to share some of the changes that you will be experiencing in the admin panel. I'm going to share the update to Formstack Workflows, which was formerly known as Copilot. We're going to get into it. New functionality is also available for step logic and approvals in workflows. Once I have wrapped up those big features, I'm going to pass the mic to Emma, and she's going to talk about the things that are changing in Formstack documents and in Forms for Salesforce. She'll pass the mic back to me, and I'll wrap us up today by walking through some new integrations that we have to share and some updates in the other category, just some things that I want to touch on. At the end of this primary session, we are going to transition as is usual into the Genius Lab content for this season's release. After this main session, we've got 3 Formstack experts who are going to host a couple of curated Genius Labs. If this is your first Formstack release, let me just share a little bit about what a Genius Lab actually is. You can kind of think of it like office hours. Each room is going to kick off with a demo or of a product or feature that you may be interested in. And once that demo is over, you're going to have the opportunity to use the chat to ask questions to our Formstack expert. So in the first room, you're going to be able to deep dive with Gina, our Forms product manager, and she's going to share a few tips and tricks for elevating your Formstack forms. Next, we have solutions engineer Josh, and he's going to be sharing how to make the most of your Salesforce investment with Forms for Salesforce. And in our third room, you're going to find Scott. He is our innovation product manager, and he's going to be sharing how you can leverage some new features I'm going to talk about today in Formstack workflows that you may not have experienced before and want to leverage. If you already know what session you would like to join of those 3, after this primary one wraps up, you can go and ahead and select it now by clicking on the little bell icon in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Then once this session concludes, you'll be automatically moved into that room. If you're still deciding what room you want to join, no worries, that's totally fine. You'll still be able to choose whichever room you would like to join at the end of this session by navigating to the agenda at the top left-hand of your screen. And then once the sessions are live, you'll be able to click into them from there. So no worries if you haven't made a decision yet. Feel free to listen to the content that we've got to share, and that might trigger which one you would like to join. Before we fully dive in today, I did just want to throw up a quick poll so that everyone can share which Formstack products they might be the most excited to hear about today. If you're not currently a Formstack customer and you're just here to learn more about our product suite, welcome. Very glad to have you. Feel free to still share what products you're interested in trying out in the chat or in the poll. Again, you can find all of that at the right-hand side of your screen. Now I'm just going to wait a hot second for some of our poll results to come in here. Can see a few. I know we've got some individual app users in the attending today, and we've got some maybe new folks. So that's a perfect segue. Just to make sure that we're all on the same page, I did want to give a little bit of a high-level overview of the tools in the Formstack suite. So Formstack is a leading low-code solution and application builder for data collection, data management, data integration, and orchestration. We empower organizations with the ability to build low-code applications, streamlining the way their teams are able to turn ideas into solutions without the need for extensive programming knowledge. Our product suite is designed to make data collection seamless and ensure there is a smooth flow of data into your central business systems. And Formstack harnesses the triple power of data management, seamless system integration, and flexible application creation to drive your business forward, reduce operational complexities, and unlock new opportunities for growth and efficiency. So there are a handful of products in the Formstack product suite. We can start off with Formstack Forms, which allows you to collect data and analyze data. There's Formstack Documents, which is a robust document automation solution. There's Formstack Sign, which is the electronic e-signature solution in the Formstack ecosystem. And we also offer a Salesforce solution, Forms for Salesforce, which is a 100% native form builder that allows you to create forms without ever leaving your Salesforce account. And when customers use all of these tools together, they report saving upwards of 17 hours in their work week. Okay, now we'll get into the meat and potatoes, why we're all here today, and talk about the new features we have to share. We're going to start, like I mentioned earlier, by going into the updates coming to the Formstack administration panel. Our biggest launched improvement for the admin panel is the sleek new homepage, which you may have already had the opportunity to experience. It's a new modular homepage, and it provides a customizable view that is going to highlight key account usage, opportunities for expansion, shortcuts to valuable resources, and frequently used locations, which will help people leverage your account, help your users to build solutions faster. Users are going to be able to see at a glance views of their usage with real-time data. They'll be able to make changes to their account if they have access to do so, and use widgets to support how their account users navigate through Formstack, which I have depicted at the bottom of this screenshot in the quick paths, something that people has been highly requested from users for a while. So very excited about the new modular homepage. If you haven't had a chance to log in and experience it, do take some time to do that. Next, we're going to transition right away into workflows. And you might be asking, what does she mean by workflows? Which is a great segue into the biggest update we're going to really talk about today. And that is that Copilot, we've updated the Copilot name to more accurately reflect what the tool does, which is automating multi-step, multi-participant workflows that use the power of Forms, Documents, and Sign. So with this name change, we also released a couple of new exciting features, and those are workflow step logic and approvals. Approvals allow a singular user or a group of users to approve a workflow step, and workflow step logic, as is in the name, uses conditional logic to route data through your workflow. We've also made it possible, we've snuck one little additional thing in there made it possible to embed your workflow on your website. Now, some of you may be familiar with our older Forms workflows solution, and I'll get into the future of that tool at the end of our presentation today. But the biggest downside for Forms workflows is that it only supports linear execution, which limits the complexity of the use cases that it can be used for. Now, in workflows, formerly Copilot, users are able to add logic to their workflows so that based on the fields on one of their workflow steps, they can route data back to a previous step, including the first step, skip a step in the workflow, or stop the workflow. I'm going to drop a link in the chat to an example demo so that you can see this feature in a little more depth. Secondly, we've released approvals. Similarly to the conditional logic, with approvals, users are going to be able to stop a workflow, skip a step, or route to a previous step, again, including the first step in the workflow, based on whether or not a step was approved. A big highlight of this feature is going to be the ability to add multiple approvers to a step in the workflow, where if one assignee approves, the workflow can proceed, or you can require that all of the assignees approve before a workflow can proceed. Now, both workflow step logic and approvals are going to come standard on a Formstack Suite Teams plan. Again, I'm going to drop another link in the chat just to another demo of this feature. It's a super short example because this feature is very, very easy to use. All right, I'm going to wrap up my initial section here by talking about Formstack Forms. We've got 3 exciting updates for Formstack Forms, and the one I'm personally the most excited about is that we've expanded workflows, formerly Copilot, access into every Formstack Forms account. Now, for some of you, you might log in today and you won't see workflows in your account. We're expecting that everyone will have access by mid-April. If you do not have access to workflows in your account today and you would like access, you can reach out to your account manager and they can grant you early access. We're just doing a gradual rollout of the feature. We've also packaged the features that now come standard on a Suite Teams plan, which is that step logic and approvals functionality, into a new add-on for Forms accounts, which is called Workflows Pro, and I'll dive a little bit deeper into that. We're also making some big improvements to our file upload field, which I'm sure is perking up a few ears in the audience today as it's a highly requested update. First, we'll talk about the expansion of workflows into Forms. So very soon, either now or very soon, on your Formstack Forms account, you'll be able to set up a workflow that will allow for form-to-form prefill, where you can also assign users to complete tasks. I've sort of depicted that a little bit here. I will also drop, again, a link in a chat to a demo where you can see this if this is a good fit for your use case. So the example that I've shown here is a PTO request where Form 1 is something an employee would fill out, and Form 2 is something that would be assigned to a manager to approve or reject. But other examples could be something like a medical history form being routed to a back office staff for scheduling, or to a specialist in a referral where subsequent forms might contain the patient's information as well as new fields for a specialist or a back office person to complete and submit. Again, this feature, either now or very soon, will be available across all Forms plans. For Forms users who are looking for a little bit more advanced workflow functionality, you can also purchase an add-on, a new add-on called Workflows Pro. Workflows Pro will grant users access to the feature Workspace, which allows users to see all of their assigned tasks and complete all of their assigned tasks in a single view. It also grants access to step logic and approvals, both group and singular approvers. Lastly, going to give you a little sneak peek into a feature that's going to be rolling out very soon, and that is improvements to our file upload field. So historically, we've had a lot of restrictions on this field. The field would only allow for 1 file per field and only 25 file fields per form, and each had a total storage allowance of 25 megabytes. Where we've improved the UI to make it easier to add documents by dragging and dropping them and allowing for multiple documents to be added to a single file upload field. We've also increased the per submission upload size to 2 gigabytes. This feature is going to be rolling out very soon, and keep an eye out on upcoming features. If you want to keep an eye out on upcoming features, you can submit requests as well using the Formstack roadmap, which is roadmap.formstack.com. I'll drop a link in the chat, but we're always looking for feedback, especially from our users who are in the trenches every day using Formstack. I'm going to take a quick break, get a drink of water, and throw up a poll for everyone just to find out what use cases you might be the most interested in seeing a demo about or getting more in-depth on. Let a couple of those questions roll in, and I will pass the mic over to Emma to share a little bit about Formstack documents.
Thanks, Lacey. So what is new on the Formstack documents front? We've made some improvements to our drag and drop document builder, so it's now out of beta. The drag and drop builder has a sleeker and simpler design than previous versions, and now you have the ability to drag and drop merge fields onto a document template. This removes the ability to do syntax with the bracket, $, merge field name, and close bracket. Keep your eyes peeled on the document builder, as launching this new builder is an initial step forward and will be the foundation for future document builder innovations. Next, I'll dive into the Salesforce space and talk about what's new on Formstack for Salesforce. Biggest thing to note on the Formstack for Salesforce front is that we've upgraded the API to version 60. For Forms for Salesforce, this isn't a dramatic upgrade, but it does open up access to a few new fields in Health Cloud. But we also made a substantial API upgrade for Documents for Salesforce, going from version 46 to version 60. This update opens Documents for Salesforce for compatibility with a lot of new industry clouds, such as Healthcare, Education Cloud, and Net Zero Cloud. I will now pass it back to Lacey to talk about all things integrations.
All right. Yep. Let's talk integrations. The new integrations that I have to share today are all available as a part of Formstack's partner program. So big shout out to our technology partners, hopefully some in the audience today. With the Formstack partner program, we aim to amplify the impact of our products and our culture by working with partners to co-create products, solutions, and customer outcomes that would exceed what we were capable of doing on our own. So this is a look at some of the new integrations here. We've got 24 files, Opal, LawView, and WheatInfuse. If you are interested in learning more about these integrations or reaching out about the partner program, there will be an option on our final poll to be able to have someone from our team reach out to you. I'm going to wrap up this section by sharing some general Formstack updates. We're going to be sunsetting Formstack Go, which we introduced 6 years ago as a way for customers to collect offline form submissions. It wasn't scaling with the organization, and we want to make sure we're always putting out the most high quality products for our users. This is going to affect a small subset of Formstack customers. The end of life date is February 28th, 2025. We are sending out an email. We sent out an email on March 19th to let customers of Formstack Go know that this was happening. We do have a couple of partners who offer offline form data collection that we are recommending that customers switch to if that is something that they are continuing to look for. We also are ending the sale of Forms workflows. Like I mentioned earlier, and as you can see from some of those previous releases, the new workflows feature, formerly Copilot, is a much more robust solution for building form and suite workflows. And it now offers those circular workflows where you're able to send the workflow back to step one, whereas Forms workflows was only linear, and it didn't have the group approvals functionality that we now offer in workflows, formerly Copilot. Now, I'm going to wrap up our main session today with a short poll. Before I pass you off to the Genius Labs, just want to let everyone request the opportunity to speak with a Formstack expert using the poll after this webinar. They will be able to dig into your use case a little bit and share whether or not some of these new features fit your workflow and what you're trying to do, let you know a little bit more about Formstack products, features, and add-ons. And without further ado, that is the end of our main session. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. The Genius Labs are the next step in today's content. So if you haven't already clicked the notification bell in the lower right-hand corner that will send you to the next session, you can go ahead and use the agenda button at the top of your screen to navigate into the room that you would like to meet with a Formstack expert on. So they'll be showcasing demos and answering your questions in those sessions. Feel free to join that session now, and thank you all so much.